Traveling through Vietnam is like stepping into a vibrant tapestry woven from rich history, diverse cultures, and breathtaking landscapes. If you're anything like me, you've probably seen those stunning photos of terraced rice fields, bustling street markets, and ancient temples on social media. The moment I decided to visit Vietnam, I knew I was in for an adventure, but I had no idea just how transformative this journey would be. Let's start with the basics. Vietnam is located in Southeast Asia, bordered by China to the north, Laos to the northwest, and Cambodia to the southwest. It has a long coastline along the South China Sea, stretching over 3,400 kilometers. The country is known for its incredible food, friendly people, and a history that is both complex and fascinating. From the ancient dynasties to the French colonial era and the Vietnam War, each chapter of its past has left an indelible mark on the culture and society today. Now, if you're planning a trip, the first thing you'll want to consider is the time of year. Vietnam has a tropical climate, which means it can be hot and humid, especially in the summer months. The best time to visit is generally from November to April when the weather is cooler and drier. However, keep in mind that the climate can vary significantly from north to south. For instance, while it might be sunny in Ho Chi Minh City, it could be drizzling in Hanoi. So, do your research and pack accordingly. Once you've sorted out your travel dates, let's talk about the must-visit places. Vietnam is a country of contrasts, and each region has its own unique charm. Starting in the north, you have Hanoi, the capital city, which is a bustling metropolis filled with history and culture. Walking around the Old Quarter is an experience in itself. The narrow streets are lined with shops, street vendors, and cafes where you can sip on a traditional Vietnamese coffee. Trust me, you haven't truly experienced coffee until you've tried it here. It's strong, sweetened with condensed milk, and served over ice. While in Hanoi, don't miss out on visiting the Hoan Kiem Lake, a serene spot in the heart of the city. Legend has it that a giant turtle once lived in these waters, and the lake is surrounded by beautiful parks and temples. It's a perfect place to take a leisurely stroll and soak in the local atmosphere. And if you're a history buff, the Vietnam Museum of Ethnology is a must-visit. It showcases the diverse cultures of the 54 ethnic groups in Vietnam, and you'll walk away with a deeper understanding of the country's rich heritage. After soaking up the sights and sounds of Hanoi, it's time to venture to Ha Long Bay, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, known for its emerald waters and thousands of limestone islands topped with rainforests. You can take a boat cruise through the bay, and trust me, it's one of the most breathtaking experiences you'll ever have. As you glide through the water, you'll feel like you've stepped into a postcard. Don't forget your camera. The views are nothing short of spectacular. Next, let's head south to the central region, where you'll find the ancient town of Hoi An. This place is a feast for the senses. The streets are lined with well-preserved buildings that reflect a mix of Vietnamese, Chinese, and French influences. At night, the town transforms into a magical wonderland with colorful lanterns illuminating the streets. It's the perfect backdrop for a romantic evening stroll. Hoi An is also famous for its food, so make sure to indulge in local specialties like chow lao, a noodle dish unique to the region, and banh mi, a Vietnamese sandwich that has taken the world by storm. You can even take a cooking class to learn how to make these dishes yourself. It's a fun way to immerse yourself in the local culture and take a piece of Vietnam home with you. From Hoi An, it's just a short trip to Da Nang, a coastal city known for its beautiful beaches and the iconic Marble Mountains. If you're a beach lover, you'll want to spend some time soaking up the sun at Mai Kay Beach, which is often rated as one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. And if you're feeling adventurous, you can hike up the Marble Mountains to explore the caves and pagodas that are hidden within. Now, let's talk about the southern part of Vietnam, where you'll find Ho Chi Minh City, formerly known as Saigon. This city is a bustling metropolis that perfectly blends the old with the new. You can visit historical sites like the War Remnants Museum and the Cu Chi Tunnels, which provide a sobering glimpse into the Vietnam War. The tunnels, in particular, are fascinating. They were used by the Viet Cong during the war as a hiding place and a means of transportation, But Ho Chi Minh City is not just about history. It's also a city that never sleeps. The streets are alive with energy, and you can find everything from street food stalls to high-end restaurants. Be sure to try pho, the famous Vietnamese noodle soup, at a local eatery. Each bowl is a work of art, with fresh herbs, tender meat, and a flavorful broth that will warm your soul. And speaking of food, if you're a foodie, you absolutely cannot miss the street food scene in Vietnam. It's an adventure in itself. You can join a street food tour to sample a variety of dishes, from banh xeo, Vietnamese pancakes, to fresh spring rolls. Eating on the streets is not only delicious, but also a fantastic way to connect with locals and experience the culture firsthand. If you're looking for a unique experience, consider taking a boat trip through the Mekong Delta. This region is often referred to as the Rice Bowl of Vietnam, and it's a fascinating place to explore. You'll glide through winding rivers, visit floating markets, and see how local communities live and work. The vibrant colors, sounds, and smells of the Delta will leave you in awe. One of the highlights of my trip was visiting the floating markets in Cai Rang. Picture this: boats filled with fresh fruits and vegetables, vendors shouting out their wares, and the smell of delicious food wafting through the air. It's a sensory overload in the best possible way. I even got to try some fresh jackfruit right from the boat, and let me tell you, it was the sweetest, juiciest fruit I've ever tasted. As you travel through Vietnam, you'll also encounter some of the friendliest people you could ever meet. The locals are warm and welcoming, always eager to share their stories and culture with you. I remember sitting at a small street-side cafe, enjoying a bowl of pho, when the owner came over to chat. She shared her family's history, her love for cooking, and even taught me a few Vietnamese phrases. Moments like these make travel so special. It's not just about the sights you see, but the connections you make along the way. Now, let's not forget about the challenges of traveling in Vietnam. Like any destination, it has its quirks. For instance, crossing the street in cities like Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City can feel like an extreme sport. The traffic is chaotic, with motorbikes whizzing by in every direction. The trick is to just go for it. Step off the curb and keep a steady pace. The drivers will weave around you, and before you know it, you'll be safely on the other side. It's a rite of passage for any traveler. Language can also be a barrier, but don't let that discourage you. While many people in tourist areas speak English, it's always a good idea to learn a few basic Vietnamese phrases. A simple "Xin chào," hello, or "Cam ơn," thank you, can go a long way in showing respect and appreciation for the local culture. As your journey through Vietnam comes to an end, take a moment to reflect on all the incredible experiences you've had. From the stunning landscapes to the mouth-watering food, and the rich history to the warm-hearted people, Vietnam is a place that leaves a lasting impression. You'll return home with not just souvenirs, but stories to tell and memories to cherish. So, if you're considering a trip to Vietnam, do it! Embrace the adventure, immerse yourself in the culture, and allow yourself to be swept away by the beauty of this amazing country. Whether you're a seasoned traveler or planning your first trip abroad, Vietnam has something for everyone. Trust me, you won't regret it. Happy travels!